Hello and welcome to a new tutorial. In here I'm going to be teaching you about material overlays and how they can help you speed up your development process. So imagine that you pick a held up item and your character glows. Or maybe you have an epic animation and as you're doing it, lightning strikes you and your body trembles with electricity. So you need to configure that electricity on the material, right? So to do that, you just go into the character's material, make the lightning logic, the lightning nodes, and then combine it, add it, multiply it, whatever. For the mannequin seems somewhat easy, but maybe for other characters it's way more complex and you just don't know what to do or where to start. So many layers. And well, also maybe you just don't want to add even more options on your material instance. So to save you, the material overlay comes. This mannequin has the normal material, but on top of it, I typed here overlay, it has our new material. So this new overlay material goes on top of your original. That way you don't need to combine anything and everything works perfectly fine. So in here we're gonna be making a cool and really simple lightning material. We're gonna be learning how to activate it in blueprints and it's gonna be really fun. So let's start. Let's make a new material folder and we already here have three textures. This one is just noise. This one is a lightning that is not the greatest quality. You see the really thick lines, but you're not gonna notice because we're gonna be distorting it, we're gonna be multiplying it. So you won't be able to notice. And the last one is just a blurred version of the previous lightning. Let me close all of this. And let's start. So right click, material, m_lightning. And let's enter it. So we want to see the lightning coursing around this hero. So we probably want this to be just additive and lit is fine. Let's bring those three textures that we have here. And we kind of want to see how this looks. So what if we just put here on emissive color, apply, and we're gonna be using this lightning here on the material overlay just to test it. Okay, so you can see that it's just drawing on top of the current material, which is great and it's awesome. All right, fine. This is nice. So we don't need to preview this anymore. Let's start by making some kind of distortion to these two textures. So actually, maybe, yeah, like this, the blurred on top. And again, okay, let's make a distortion. So I want to make a copy of this one. And on the red channel, I want to multiply this by 0.1. So it has a really low intensity. Otherwise, it's going to be a really destructive distortion, which we don't want. We still want to see some shapes here, right? Now we add this to a texture coordinate. There are more exact ways to do this distortion, but since we don't need it to be centered, since this doesn't have a shape and it's just it could pan on any direction, this is fine. If we hook this here, we can see that, okay, we can see already some kind of distortion on it. A little bit too baggy, I will say, though. But for now, it's okay. So we need some kind of panner, right? Something to make them pan on an axis. We put it on both, and probably this is just 0.1 and this is just 0.3. And oh, of course, we cannot preview it because it's not hooked, but I think this is fine. They're going on the same direction, and they should, because this version is a blurred one of this, right? So I want them to go together on the same direction. Okay, now I want to give this blur a different color than this one, just to differentiate them a little bit. Normally, if it was Niagara, I would go particle color, but this is just material, right? So we need to set it up. Let's multiply this by a color, hold 3 and left click. We want to make this a parameter. So blur color, we hook it in, and what if we give it some kind of bluish color? Okay, I mean, this looks fine. And on the bottom one, we need to do the same. So again, we multiply this by another parameter. And this is main color. For this one, just to be able to differentiate them and see that they are working fine, we can just do that. Okay, so for now, we have these two combinations. We probably want to make them a little bit more intense, but you know, for now, just multiply and see what is happening. So they're multiplying against each other, and we have a lot of really dark areas. But we can see already how it's going along nice. Let's try to make it have a more potent color. So we already have two parameters. Let's go here and material instance. Let's open it up and actually use it here. Otherwise, the changes that we do, we're not going to be able to see them. Okay, and I wanna put it like this. So what if we increase this by 5? Okay, that's looking cool. And what if we increase this by 5 too? And this one we cannot see too well. I guess it is because of the multiplication. But for now, this is going to be just fine. We do not want more modifications on it. And I think it's actually on the inverse. This is the main and this is the... But it's okay for now. Actually, let me see if... What if we instead add them together? It's just a small text. I know that it has to be multiplication, but... Yeah, this is way too much noise. Yep, they're not really helping each other there. So we don't want that. We just want it to be a multiplication, of course. Okay, now I'm also thinking that I would like to have some kind of gradient around them, so it doesn't look so extended on all the body. Let's try to do that. But first, perhaps we can multiply this main texture with noise. So we want to copy this banner here, and we just don't want any speed here. Probably just run like this, and I want to hook it here. So it's just panning slowly. And what if we multiply these two actually? So we multiply these two and we go here. Okay, I'm liking that. But now, as you can see here, both colors are too strong and they're just nullifying each other. We can probably just increase intensity on both here. So we don't have to move the color to a way too high option. So what if we do 5 here? And what if we do 5 here too? How is that looking? I mean, it's looking nice. But now it is way too way too darkened, you know? I'm not enjoying it so much. So we need to definitely keep making some more modifications. I think that this is looking just fine. Although, you know, this red is way too overpowering it. So just grab the red channel. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit better. Uh-huh. That's looking better. Now we need to make that gradient that I told you. And also it will be nice to add some kind of Fresnel around. So let's add that other part. How would we do this? Okay, so we want a texture coordinate. I want to mask this. Oh, sorry, component mask. And I just want to mask this on the green channel. Yeah, from bottom to up. Nice. We hold P for power. Oh, sorry, that's banner. We get a power. We plug it in. And if we start playing with this, for example, a tree, you can see how it's tighter and tighter, which is cool. And we want to multiply this by the same, but in here we put a 1 minus to make the opposite, right? And now we multiply them both. How is it looking? Is it perfect? Yep, this is looking very nice. Now just increase the power in it. I keep putting panner. So power. Oh, well, not power here, but maybe we multiply it with, I don't know, 40? Okay, that's nice. And now this power can control how tight this mask is. So I want to hold S for a scalar parameter and say mask's power. We plug it here, and as a default, I would just like it to be 2. On the material instance, we can modify it. It's fine. But now this, we want to multiply it with our main part. But where exactly should we multiply this? Probably at the very end of this one. Because we still also need to make the Fresnel. So we multiply it with this. Oh, yeah. I got confused for a second. Okay, yeah. And let's test it. How is our mask looking? Okay, that's looking pretty nice. Now it's not that full. Although I see some. No, it's looking pretty nice. We will definitely modify it on the material instance, but so far this is looking great. Okay, cool. Now let's make a really simple and small Fresnel. So here I want to type Fresnel and I want to hold S exponent. We plug it in, and S reflection. We plug it in, and well, the base for this one is 5 and the base for this one is 0.4. This is fine. Now multiply it with a color. Most likely we're gonna multiply it with this, although maybe we just pick a different color, you know? We change, and this is Fresnel color. Plug it in. And now finally, we need to add both of these together. So add them both. And plug it in. How is it looking? Okay, it's looking better, but we definitely need to modify the Fresnel on our instance. Although we're not gonna do that just yet. Or do we? Because I kind of already want to see it looking better. Okay, we're gonna modify it now. This blue kind of bothers me. All right, so we enable all of them, and the activation, if we go higher, 38, the ref is the most important one, I think. We wanna probably lower it more like that. That's looking very fine. I like it a lot. This one is nice. Okay. So the power probably is just the one. 0. 0 is way too much. Yeah, just the one is just fine. So for the lines, oh, and for the Fresnel color, probably this is good. We don't want something way too shiny. We just want the silhouette to be lit up, right? That's good. The blur color is probably fine. Yeah, I think this is okay. Now we have a main issue now. So this is looking nice, but in order to kinda sell the effect, in my opinion, I would like for these flashes of lightning to be able to like lift our hero's mesh skin a little bit, right? Maybe to look it to make it look like a real lightning, like give it more depth, right? So in order to modify depth in your materials, you need to play with the world position offset. So what exactly do we do here? What we want to do right now is just bring up a vertex normal, and we want to multiply this by probably one. Well, this is our main texture, right? Yeah, no, this is the blur color. But this one is shows better. I think we can just do this. Let's test it. We need to see which place is the best to draw this from. So now you can see how it is affecting, and it is just way too much. Look at this. That's not nice. Way too many triangles, way too much potency. So the issue with that is that this noise is just way too strong. It has way too many lit up areas. We need something like this, or probably the blur, quite honestly, because this blur has less whites, it has more blacks. So we probably just go for that. And let's see. Okay, that's way softer and way more subtle, and you can see it here. Okay, that's very nice. But we want to be able to control the intensity of this. So in here, we just want to say, okay, vertex normal, and this is going to be multiplied by a scalar parameter. This is potency. So if this is on 0, we're going to be seeing exactly no difference. But if we put it on 1, or more, 2, or maybe 10, you can start seeing the changes, right? We probably want to leave it at 3. This is looking really cool in my opinion. So what I have in mind is that this effect is going to be happening just for a split second, right? For when the thunder hits your hero. Okay, we can put this here. And I don't think that we need to add more things to our material. I think this is looking fine. So we should start going to the to how to activate it in the game, right? Potency is 3, yeah, that's okay. So I want to be able to activate this as I run, right? So let's do that. Now we want to be able to control our effect as our hero is running. Maybe you want to do it for an animation in case you will need to get a montage and everything. But what we're gonna do right now is going to be a solid base for it. So let's find our third person character, which is here already. It's here. And just on anywhere, just I want to say keyword. I just want to activate it with one. So I want to do sequence. And first I want to establish our variables and all that comes to it, right? So create dynamic material instance. Okay. And this parent, I want to promote it to variable. And this is going to be named, I'm just going to be naming it fx. Like that, fine. We don't need any optional name, creation flags, no. Now we want to promote variable. We want to name it setFX. Or well, this is the reference. And then out of this, I want to say set overlay material mesh. Okay. Like that. Now, lastly, I want to say from here also set scalar parameter value. Like this, we plug in. You can make it a little bit more tidy, up to you. And I want to, well, with this, I want to be able to modify when it spawns and when it despawns, right? But currently, we don't have any node that helps us activate it or not, right? So I have this parameter that controls the potency of the vertex normal, which doesn't help. I have nothing. So I need one parameter that can help me. So just multiply here and hold S, and we can say this is activation. Like that. All right. We could also create more parameters to increase the potency of the lightning or whatever else, right? Okay. So we have the activation. I'm gonna leave it on 1 so we can see things. And parameter name, activation. We don't need here any value or anything. Now we can go on then 1. We want to use a flip-flop, so when we press the button again, something different happens. And now let's drag a timeline. And I want to say this is, no, this is just timeline. And in here, I want to double click and enter. This is going to allow us to make curves, right? To go from 0 to 1, to animate things. So we want to track a float, and this is activation. I just want this to last for 1 second. So create 2 keys. One is on 0. The other one is on 1. 1, 1. Press F to center this. And I want to make them both, no, sorry. I want to make them both out. This looks sweet. Okay, so now we need to, well, we have the animation. Now we need to get the things to animate, right? We want to do this, we want to use the reference. We want to get it. And from this, set scalar parameter value. We want to plug this on update, and activation on here. Parameter name is activation. Okay, and when we press it again, this should be on reverse. And this should be the whole configuration for it. We press 1, it doesn't work for some reason. Okay, so we need to, oh, I think we haven't assigned our material. Is it on FX? Compile. Now it should work. So now you can see, since we have this this soft timeline, it just animates in and out. But you can make it even faster, right? So 0.2. And this is also 0.2. Like lightning, right? So there are a couple of things that we need to add for it to look more, for it to look stronger, right? For example, we could animate the colors too, so it appears even faster, and things like that. That we're not gonna be doing. Oh, wait, length, yeah, 0.1, 0.1. I just wanted to make, okay, that's way faster. Okay, so that's the basic of it, right? If you want to animate it even more, you should be adding more of these parameters and just modifying them in here. Hold on. Okay, and then just modifying them in here, right? So you can animate them, so you can use them, right? And well, that's all for the overlay materials. I mean, it can help you on several things. Again, imagine that you pick up a held up object and there's a small glow on your hero and things like that. And also it's really fun to be able to play with world position. So I hope that you enjoyed this and that it was useful, maybe for a game, something quick, something fun. You're gonna have the project files in there too. And please make sure to follow us for more content, right? And I'll see you on the next one.